Alright guys, out fishing on the Duck River Reservoir again today. Had such a good time last week, I thought I'd come back. I've been riding around looking for some new bedding areas for some bluegill, and I've just set up on one. It's got a big tree up next to the bank, and it looks to be a sandy, which we're sitting in 9 to 10 feet of water, but up on the bank you can definitely tell that there's some sand, a sandy area coming out. So I know it comes out a little ways before it drops off. And that is always, this time of year, an area to check. Now the wind won't let me face it. I wanted my cameras pointed directly at it, and just ain't gonna happen with this wind. It keeps flipping me around. So I got myself in a position where I could throw to it, and I just wanted to make a few casts and see if, maybe I was right, if there was a bedding going on in this particular spot. Kind of like last week, I may make my way all the way around to that area that had the bluegill and the brim last week and try again. And I'm also got a little different goal this week, is looking for some post-spawn bass. So far I haven't come across any bass. I've thrown a spinnerbait and a Texas rig at worm in some decent areas, and not a strike, not yet. But last week, for those of you that watched last week, if I find these brim in their bedding areas, there's a good chance on the outside of those bedding areas there's going to be some bass hanging. A lot of times when you get your bluegill spawning this time of year, that's kind of a signal that some of the bass are finished. Those bass they'll be lurking around the edges of the brim and the bluegill beds and shell cracker and all that, looking for an easy meal. So every time I come across, now the wind got me completely away from it's kind of confusing today. It doesn't know which way it's going to blow, away from my little bedding area. So I'm trying down this bank. There's tons of bushes hanging over in this. I can see a little bit of sandy bottom along the edge, but not a pronounced point like I thought I had found right back here. So I don't know if this will produce a bite or not. But either way, man, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm about to move along to the next spot, or either turn around, up anchor and turn around and make a couple of casts. And anyway, I'm about to reposition, and I will catch you guys on the other side. Alright guys, I have got on a bank that I have got some bites. I've already caught 2 or 3 little small brim. Now I caught me a tiny little bass like I caught last week, if not even smaller. I mean tiny. But hey, sometimes you catch the fish and sometimes you catch the bait. Alright guys, that's one of the biggest gills, brim, I have caught today. Oh easy, got them little fins stuck out everywhere. He's mad. But I'm catching a lot. I just hadn't turned my camera on very much because there's so little today. I've not found the big guys like last week. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of bass activity. That's a decent little old fish, but nothing like those ones from last week. I don't know where they've gone. They're not the couple of beds that I found last week. They don't seem to be. Could be the big front that came through, messed them up. Not exactly sure. Don't know how the bluegill and the brim are affected like the bass. I don't know if they're affected as much, but definitely we had a cold front a couple days ago, and pretty good one. Man, I have got in the weeds. Get out of here. Get my motor up in the junk back there. But no, the big ones have not made. There's something. Oh, he pulled off. I still don't think that was a big one. Don't think that was just the initial pull, the initial strike didn't feel like last week. So we're gonna keep looking. That's all you can do. There's another bite. That might be a better one. A little better fish. That's not a bream. A rock bass. Boy, he whacked it too. Got them hooks down in there. Oh, come on. Just barely in there. Oh. Show you what I got. A little rock bass. Back you go. Well, the bites have picked up. They're just not very big. We will continue the area and see what happens. Alright guys, gotta hold me a little bigger one. Get up here, Junior. He don't want to come in. He don't want to come in. There he is. That's more like last week. They're not out on the points now. Or they're not out where I've caught them last week. They have moved. They may be done bedding and now they're roaming, or oh man. These tiny little hooks are a mess. Check him out. How about that? That's an eater. Away he goes. Alright guys, more of the same. The big ones are not as big as last week, but they're consistent with the size. Good looking little fish, just wish they were bigger. I have caught tons of little small ones today. I don't know what's going on, to be truthful. Only a week ago I caught no small ones and all big ones. And now I'm not catching not any real big ones. I'm talking last week, bream and bluegill would go a pound or more. None of these have been that quality. But hey, it's good to be out here tracking them down anyway. Winds. Oh, there went something. What do we get? Oh, that's a little bigger one. There we go. That was pretty cool. I like catching them while I'm talking. I jerked him out of the water. He's still fresh. He's not in the least bit tired yet. They're just not that big today, but boy, they're pretty colorful. Alright, you'll give me that back. One little hook. They are so, oh my goodness, these tiny little hooks are like a nightmare. They do a good job. You just got to get the right angle. There he is. Back he goes. They're not always hooked that bad. They just get in a funny angle and you can't get to them. Makes it look a lot worse than it really is. Let's see if he's got some friends in this area before I get going. He came all the way up to the surface. I saw him get it. Big old flash and a pull. That's pretty cool. Looks like there's a lot of little thin brush right in here that they might be holding in. Oh man, I'm getting hit every once in a while and they're not getting. There's one, he got it. Oh yeah. Another big, he's got to be a little bigger. He got some fight to him. Get him up here. Come on up here, Junior. Oh yeah. There we go. Man, finally got him. Get some slack. More like last week now, boys. Oh, easy them little fins. Yeah. Oh, he's got fins in my hand. I guess that's only fair. We'll try that again. That's a big old healthy one there. God, he got me twice. When your hands get slick, they're hard to hold, especially when they're that big. One, give me that. And come on, see which way it's going. One little hook. Look at that feller. That's as good as what I got last week. Alright. Back you go. I gotta get out of these. I gotta get out of these bushes. Man, got on the right bank. Now these are no longer on the points. Whether they're done completely with their bedding for this round, I'm not sure. But these are not that far from where I caught the good ones last week, but they are not on the point. They're on a steeper bank with a lot of overhanging vegetation. Trees right down in the water. There's another. Oh, come on. Man, I have found some fish. Get up under that right there. Alright guys, picked up one more. Day's looking up. If I remember correctly, I got over here last Sunday morning and they did not bite until the afternoon. Or at least they didn't for me. Another pretty little fish. Easy, putting you back in there. I don't know what it is. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm hitting the shady banks, which might have positioned them a little better, but other than that, I don't have a clue why they would bite in the morning. This bright sunshine overhead, don't know. But the shade seems to be holding them. My bedding areas that I found last week had absolutely zero. So I think those particular fish are done. I think they are now roaming and feeding. I've had so many. If any of you guys fly fish, you could come over here right now and probably tear them up. Sometimes they're hitting this little crankbait right when it hits the water on top before I ever make a one turn of the reel. And I'm hearing them suck bugs down every once in a while. Fly fishermen could have a ball right now with a fly rod and a little dry fly or a popper, whatever you prefer. But man, they're killing it. I know the brim would just be tearing the top water, just tearing it up. I'm gonna say you might catch 100 a day like that. But if you've never done that, that is a blast. I'm actually seeing activity now in these areas up in the shade. There was none earlier today. It was like the Dead Sea. And all of a sudden now we've got activity roaming around, hitting bugs on top of the water. I've caught tons of little tiny fish today and just now beginning to catch a few that are worth showing. Even caught some little bass like I did last week. A lot of little bitty bass. Those would have been the yearling bass, I believe, from last year. And those that have made it that big, they'll grow pretty fast now. I've worked my way out of the shade. Not sure I'm gonna get a bite now in a good spot. Lots of brush. Decent water depth. No shade may equal no fish. Oh. There's one little shady spot right on the end there. See if it's got a fish. Nothing. As soon as I get in the sun, they're done. We're gonna put one on off the point just in case. Who knows? Alright guys, I'm headed to find me a new shady spot. See if my theory holds true. Hang around, let's go get them. Boom. How about that? Get up here. Alright guys, right as soon as I got to my new spot in the shade, I got a hold of a fish. Easy, buddy. And he did everything he could to put them little hooks back in me. And he almost succeeded. But I mean, I had one, I think the very first cast, I saw a flash, threw it back in, and he just demolished it. I'm telling you, they're really close to the surface. And if you were throwing a little popper bug or top water small enough for a brim, you'd get eat slam up. Because they're hitting my little crankbait sometimes before I even I don't even have to reel. I watch them hit it. Let me get in here. Oh, let him off. No. Oh, there's one. If I can keep him on. He ain't as big as that last one I looked. And I found me another pretty good bank. Once again in the shade. Shade's the ticket in the afternoon. And I just let one off. My God, it was a finding too. But you can't catch them all. But you gotta catch a few of them. And I've left the camera off a long time today and caught I don't know how many fish, but there just been so little that I didn't want to turn the camera on for 3-inch brim or 4-inch bass. So much difference. I mean, a handful of decent ones today versus, my God, I don't know, 25 little tiny fish. Big difference this week and last week. And man, I have got into a section of the lake that has a ton of fry. And these fish, the bluegill are in here chasing them. There's bass in here chasing them. It's something. I mean, it's starting to sound like summertime. Bugs being hit on top of the water and edges being splashed by fish getting fried. Man, they're busy. It was not like this morning. Not at all. I've got some activity way up here. See if I can get one. Oh man. Well, I almost got one. Let's see if he's still in there around an old tree. Come on, come on. He ain't gonna do it. I spooked him. He's gotta have a friend. Or maybe not. We're putting it in there where he was though. There's one. Oh yeah. That's a good one. I can Get him up here. Alright. Get out of that water. Look how pretty them colors are. Man, that is awesome. Hooks, hooks, hooks. Alright, let's get rid of that. One more to go. Give me that back. We will put you back. He ain't bad. Just as pretty as he can be. Right in there where I lost that other one. I bet you there's more. There's one. I don't believe that's. No. A little bream. More of the tiny size. Oh, them little fins. Boy, these are mean little son of guns. I have been stuck a few times today. Back you go. Now he wasn't in the shade, but he was where there was a lot of activity. Airplane. A whole lot of activity along this bank, and even though it's in the sun, that's a good sign there's probably something in here feeding. So we're gonna make a few casts. I was on my way to a different place, but when you see fish feeding, you gotta stop and throw. So we're gonna make 2 or 3 and head on. Got him. Hey, buddy, ease up. Trying to put you back in the water. Alright, we are still catching them. Oh, man, he's trying to swim. Check him out. How pretty. I know I got my camera in the sun, but it's just how it ended up. Man, these fish are hitting. The afternoons right now seem to be so much better than in the mornings for some reason. I don't know. Afternoon bite, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna ease on down this bank, see if we can get another one. Oh, my goodness. Check him out. Oh, easy. Easy, buddy. Easy, 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 easy. Guys, that's a good one right there. He won't pull his tail back around. Check that out. That's the kind I had last week. Let him go. Wow. Man, that's a fighter right there. That was a fighter. Alright guys, I am slowly but surely making my way back to the boat ramp, It's been a pretty successful day. My only disappointment today, I guess, is I didn't get on the size of fish like I did last week. Last week was just phenomenal. Bream that would, bluegill that would literally cover up your hand. This week, only a handful of those, and a ton of small fish. So I had bites all day. I didn't dare show all of those. I mean, I don't know how many I ended up catching for the day. In with some of those, just a bunch of probably 10 little bass all day. Just little yearling bass. Bream, I think in this lake, I'm on the Duck. I don't know if I've said that before. I'm on the Duck River Reservoir. I'm sure that in the areas that I fished, those particular bluegill are off bed. They completely moved off of that area that I had such success with last week. They are roaming up and down the bank. There is fry, don't know if it's bass fry, bluegill, brim fry, whatever it is. There's fry everywhere up and down those areas, and they are definitely all kinds of fish in those areas feeding on them. There's bass. I've seen 2 or 3 good bass blow up today. Never did get one to hit. A lot of brim are shallow, so if you're coming brim fishing on any of our area lakes, probably right now, excellent time to go brim fishing. If you're live bait fishing, say with worms or crickets, I don't think I would set my bait more than 1.5 foot to 2 foot deep. Everything I've seen today, they are just crowded to the bank, and there is tons of fish to be had. Artificials, you could do about as well, which you guys know what I like. I like the little small crankbaits. These, get it up here, you can see it. They run a couple feet deep. Rapala makes some excellent little crankbaits. Cream Lure Company, they make an excellent tiny hard bait like that, and brim will just smash them. They will just literally smash them. This is the best time of year for that because the fish are shallow. So if you're live baiting, I'm gonna say 1.5 foot, 2 foot deep. If you're artificial, shallow running crankbaits, crappie jigs will work. I wouldn't crappie jig fish with a float. I would use something that I could cast and reel in slow, and you'll probably get eat up with that. The brim are on. The bass are still probably getting over the spawn, and I've seen a few feeding, but very, very few. Had a little better luck on Katoma last week than I did over here today as far as bass wise. So if that helps you guys out any, maybe it will. Anyway, I'm heading back in. It's been a long day. It's been a fun day. Get back and see what all I've got left on my camera, and hopefully I got some of this. Some big gills, some little gills, little bass, but it was a successful day out on the water, so that's great. Appreciate you guys tuning in, going fishing with me, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, you guys stay safe. I'll see you. Have a good day.